And there's agreement there, so and yeah, we should try that. Because like he has added a lot to the board. You can hear him, sir. All right, thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. May I ask you, and children, may I ask you to be seated at this time?
We're good. So it's on now. This one's off.
Ladies and gentlemen, you'll have the opportunity at the end of the meeting to speak to the booth holders, the stall holders. Corey and Company, please, if we could have everybody seated now. Ladies, the High Commission stall will be there after the meeting. So can we just have you seated so we can start the evening's event? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, because I was wondering if I was in Brixton. Because Brixton is usually alive. Are we alive tonight? Me know that for sure. So welcome everyone to this town hall meeting with Victoria Mutual Group, officers from Jamaica who will be telling us a lot of new things. So I want you all to be ready to hear them. Now at this point, may I ask you to be all upstanding for the playing of the national anthem of Jamaica. Thank you. Please be seated. I'd like to give credit to Steve Higgins, who's a Jamaican opera singer residing in the United States, and I know he'll be here in mid-July to do a number of concerts. So thank you all very much. As I said, it's good to have you here, everybody here, because you know how Brixton is. When you ask somebody in Jamaica, you know anybody anywhere in England? Yes, Brixton, very popular. So we're happy that we have our town hall meeting this afternoon. And our High Commissioner will be with us. He has just left another meeting, and he'll be joining us. But I'd like you to give special welcome to our Deputy High Commissioner, Mrs. Patrice Laird Grant. Please be standing up so we can see you, right? And she has other members of staff with her. Really happy to have you. And so when High Commissioner comes, we'll introduce him and have him speak. So at this time, I'd like to welcome and introduce Mr. Courtney Campbell, MBA, and he is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Victoria Mutual Group, a leading Jamaican financial group with operations that extend to the financial services district in North America and the United Kingdom. Courtney assumed the position in April 2016 and immediately went about igniting a transformation of the organization, which includes an ambitious digital strategy that has led to new products and services being delivered in modern, convenient ways. Courtney has leveraged the organization's cultural beliefs and core values to kindle the VM team's passion for uplifting Jamaicans. In November 2021, the VM Group underwent a brand transformation, signifying publicly the reinvigorated spirit and focus of the group. Courtney is a student advocate for greater financial inclusion, which is the founding purpose of Victoria Mutual and a significant motivator behind the work that he does. And I'm going to invite him to speak now and ask him to fill in a little bit more about the things that he does, because he is a man of great value. Welcome, our President.
Good evening, Brixton. How are you doing? You're doing hot? You must say you're hearty. Are you feeling irie? Who feeling irie? Good, very good. That's what we say as Jamaicans. It's such a wonderful thing. 2 years of COVID, but we are back again. When we left in 2019, Peter and I, we should have said, I shall return. And we have returned, right? Maybe a little delayed, but we really miss you. We really, really miss you. It's such a joy to be here and to be able to share with you. And we brought more company with us this time. Not only Mr. Peter Reid and myself, but Mr. Redsworth Burchinson, who is CEO of VM Investments Limited and VM Wealth, is here, as well as Peter Gay, Russell Peart, who probably stepped outside. Where's Peter Gay? Right? Where's Peter Gay? Not seen Peter Gay. But anyway, she's here. She's a member of Res's team. It's a delight for us to be here sharing with you. A lot has been happening in VM, and I have just two simple messages for you this evening, and then I'll sit. Right? Two simple messages. A lot of great things are happening in VM. What is that? A lot of great things are happening in VM. And here's the second message. Greater things will be happening in the future. Right? Even greater things are to come. So that's what we're going to talk about. So what are the great things that are happening in VM? First, I want to, before I go into that, thank all our exhibitors for being here. Mrs. Laird Grant and the team from the Jamaica High Commission. Thank you for being here. The team from Moorlands, team from Condor, of course, our own VM Wealth and VM Finance and our rep office teams. I want to give them a special round of applause because they give you such good service, right? And there are some people here who do not currently have a VM account, right? And it's okay because we are so happy that you're here. Because we know that by the time you leave here this evening, you will indicate to our team at the back your desire right, to open a VM account. So let me hear amen from those who don't have a VM account yet. All right, this family. Amen. All right, thank you very much. So we have a team in Jamaica. We have a team based at 3 offices in the UK, some in New York, some in Florida. We have been working. That's what one former Prime Minister said. And we have been delivering some really good results. Now I'm going to take you through what has been happening since 2019 when we met. Now last time we were here was June 2019. What happened in March 2020? COVID. But we responded, we were well prepared for it because we were reading and keeping us in touch with what's happening in the world, from China coming across the seas. Nathaniel, good to see you. Nathaniel on the phone. Right? So we set up a team in VM, cross-functional COVID response team, to ensure that we were well prepared, that the customers were protected, that our team members were protected, that we could work from home. So at one point, 60% of our team members were working remotely. And you know what had happened? We had actually approved a remote work policy from 2 years before. Flexi time and remote work. And so all we did was to implement in 2020. And then some people who had borrowed from us had lost their jobs, or their businesses got into trouble because of COVID. And we ended up granting $7.5 billion worth of special loan arrangements to help those people through that difficult period, right? And thankfully, the vast majority are back now servicing their facilities, and our delinquency rate is very low. That which is a good thing for us. So we're very, very pleased about the teamwork that we had as a management team. Peter, Reza, myself, along with the other members of the management team, we used to meet at one point every Wednesday at 4 o'clock to just ensure that we understand what was happening, how our members and team members were being impacted. Eventually, we reduced that every fortnight, and now we have actually ended those meetings, right? Because we believe that it's still dangerous, but we're through the worst part of it. So that was our COVID response. What have we done about transforming lives? Because we now have a new vision statement that says we really want to transform people's lives by advancing their financial well-being. Well, here's what we have done. In the 2 years, 2020 and 2021, we disbursed record amounts of mortgages in Jamaica, including to many first-time homeowners. A few years ago, VM used to do $4 billion in new mortgages, then $8 billion, then $12 billion. In the 2 years, 2020 and 2021, we disbursed in total loans over $20 billion. And in fact, our loan portfolio now makes us the 4th largest deposit-taking institution in Jamaica in terms of loan portfolio. Right? That is the record of growth that we have been having, the pace of growth that we have been having. Last year, in 2021, our loan portfolio grew by 28%, while the overall market increased by 10%. So that's how we're growing much faster than the market. Some good things are happening in VM. Do you agree with me? Right? Great things, in fact, are happening in VM. Our deposit portfolio also grew significantly. Those of you who have accounts with us, thank you for your business. Those of you who don't, please join the party. Right? We have some really strong deposit products denominated in sterling, denominated in Jamaican dollars, right? Denominated in US dollars. If you wish to save in US, we will give you fixed rates for up to as long as 18 months. Please check us out. And because of those instruments, our deposit portfolio grew by over 15% last year. The market grew by 13%. But it's not only the building society. In VM Wealth Management, we introduced some new products last year. Right? We introduced premium wealth to give closer attention to some of our customers, our clients in VM Wealth. We also introduced new unit trust portfolios, because what we do is we try to understand your needs and develop solutions that are meant to address those needs that you have. In VM Pensions Management, we introduced an approved retirement scheme. We always had it, but we revamped it because too many people in Jamaica are going through retirement years without having a retirement plan. It's a huge problem in Jamaica. In fact, in the private sector, only 11% of people, outside of those covered by government pensions, only 11% of the other working population are covered by a pension. Isn't that serious? And you know what happened? The good news is that people are living longer. But living longer without being properly prepared is a recipe for poverty in your weakest years of life. Agreed? So what we want to do is we would like to play a role in fixing that problem by saying to people, start preparing for retirement from the day you're working, from the day you start working. So a lot of people on contract. And you should encourage your family members back home. Some of them have gotten a new job, but they're not on a pension plan. They're on contract. Don't you know people like that? Some of them are self-employed. Don't you know people like that? Encourage them to sign up for a pension plan with VM to start preparing for retirement. The longer you save towards with that pension plan, is stronger the pension benefits will be. So what we have started to do now is to distribute our approved retirement scheme through our branches. So it's easily accessible. I mean, 2 years ago, we only had that. You had to visit head office where the VM Pensions head office is to access that. Now we're ensuring that you can get that through the branches of VMBS. And then we're very, very proud of what has happened in the UK, because we have a UK team in a company called VM Finance Limited. Say the word for me, VM Finance. VM Finance. What do we do in VM Finance? We offer specialized property loans. Now, what that is all about is that, and Leighton Smith, where's Leighton? Over here, he's a CEO. And Andrew Evans will wave his hand, is the head of lending services. And John Weiber, who will stand and raise his hand, stand up there, right? Is a relationship manager. And Paul, raise your hand. Paul runs our mortgage brokering business in VM Finance. And Jane Kerpensley is a manager in that business. She ensures that all the security is taken. So here's what we do there. We are lending to local developers in the UK to purchase properties, improve the properties, sell them or rent them. That's what we're doing. Experienced developers who have been doing this for years, who understand what they're doing, and who have capital, because we have a fairly conservative approach to doing the business. What we do to differentiate ourselves is through excellent relationship management. And I think you would be so proud of this team. I think you should give them a round of applause. They are winning. They, as a Jamaican own institution, they are winning business from some of the big UK banks. Can you imagine that? That the customers are saying that the way you guys do business with us offers such a much better experience than what we're getting at our banks here in London. And they have taken the business to us. And I think you should give them another round of applause for that. We're very proud of them, right? But there's another line of business that you should also be interested in, because probably not all of you would be in development, probably one or two of you. But here's what all of you should be interested in. We offer brokerage services for high street banks, Barclays, Coventry, Nationwide, etc., NatWest. You wish to purchase a property here you're accustomed to speaking with VM when you wish to purchase property back home, right, in Jamaica, true? True? But some of you would like to purchase property here as well. We still want you to own in Jamaica now, but some of you want to buy here. And you may, for whatever reason, be a little intimidated, a little shy to go into Barclays. Guess what? You can speak with us. We broker, we give you the best deal, We look at what all of them have to offer. We look at your needs, and we said, this is the best deal. And we take your application and send it into them. You don't have to visit their office. Right? And that's what Paul Ritchie is responsible for doing. Paul, raise your hand again, say you know, right? You speak with Paul. Did you all know that? You didn't know that? You learned something this evening, right? So that business, VM Finance, is doing extremely well between our brokerage business as well as specialized property lending. So that's another example of what we're doing to transform lives. And then we're not only offering new products, but we improve service delivery. So in VM, we now in 2020 launched, I'm talking about things that were just done since the last time we met, because I'm so glad to see, you know, when we catch up, we're catching up after a long time. We have to tell everything that's going on in the family, right? Well, you're going to hear everything that is going on in the family, right? So since we last met, we have launched our new online banking platform. And it comes with a really cool mobile app. When we have the break after, I'll show you my mobile app, right? How many of you have already signed up for the new online banking and the mobile app? You're using it? You use it? Tell them your experience.
It's really good. I tested it about a couple of years ago, and then I went into the branch to check if it had reached its destination, and it did. And so it's easy. It's really, really easy
to use.
Yeah.
Excellent. So give her a round of applause for being a pioneer, right? So transfer funds to any bank anywhere in the world, because wire transfers are possible from it, to banks in Jamaica, pay bills. That's what you use whether from your laptop or from your phone. That's what we allow you to do. Check your balances, right? So that is now working. It's I think the easiest mobile banking app to use in Jamaica, from the Jamaica. It's true? All right, good. That's what you use.
Yes, the last time, this is very good. Everyone should get it. The last time, I want to send money. Somebody is sick down there, and I want to send money to somebody to look after somebody. And just quick, I just call them up, and they said, okay, Miss White, this is what you're going to do. And they talk me through the phone with it, and it go right to the account. They pick it up 2 days after. It's very, very, very
Big up yourself. Thank you very much. Good. So that's just one example, but that's in the building society. In VM Wealth, and I'm sure when Reds comes, he'll talk about it a bit more. In VM Wealth, we have introduced a new client portal, as well as for those of you who want to buy Jamaican equities, and you hear about IPOs going. We had one the other day that was just crazy. 500 million of people were trying to raise through Rez's team. And what was the total subscription? Who wants to guess? I'll give you a prize. Who wants to guess what was the total subscription for the Dollar Financial IPO? Total amount of applications. They were trying to raise 500 million Jamaican dollars, a microfinance firm. They came to Rez and his team to say, take us to the stock market, to the junior stock exchange, right? And the applications received amounted to, what's the answer? 5 million. What is it? What is it?
5 million.
5 million.
Yeah.
They were trying to raise 500 million. They were trying to raise 500 million. So I'm asking the total amount of the applications received is what? Guess that. Somebody said 600. Go up. Huh? 800. Go up. All right, Rez, help them out.
5 billion Jamaican dollars. 10 times oversubscribed.
You hear that? 5 billion. So anyway, so all of these applications coming in, they weren't sending in by paper. They used something called the IPO Edge platform that went on their computer from anywhere, and they applied for the shares, right? And that's another way that we enhance service delivery to our clients. Here's another one you want to know about. Peter's team introduced a new mortgage portal. So you need to get a mortgage to buy property in Jamaica. You apply on this portal and you are able to receive your pre-approval, right? Automatically, right? Online. Those of you who are sending remittances to Jamaica using Zoom, MoneyGram, etc., we have introduced direct to account. So no, your people in Jamaica do not need to go into the branch to pick up any cash or any of the remittance outlets to pick up cash over the counter. Please tell them it's much more secure and even speedier for them to receive their funds via direct to account. They just need to have a bank account and receive a debit card, and they're able to then spend using the debit card at a supermarket or pharmacy, etc. Right? So that's important. Now, MoneyGram weren't always on it, and they confirmed just today, MoneyGram confirmed that they are doing direct to account from anywhere in the world except the States. Right? But it includes UK. So the MoneyGram transactions that you're sending from the UK will be direct to account is now available for those transactions as well. Do any of you use MoneyGram? But you might have neighbors, friends, family who use MoneyGram. So you tell them that you heard it at the VM event. Right? So those are just two examples. Now, for people who are saving for retirement through VM pensions, we have introduced an online pension statement as well using our new Aurora platform. Those are just a few examples of all we're doing across the VM group to improve service delivery. Then, serving the community. As I said, great things are happening in VM. We have introduced new products. We have started new businesses such as VM Finance. We have improved service delivery, but we're also serving the community. So during COVID, to high school students and to tertiary students. And we increased the amount that we're giving to each student. But we recognize that many of our students were having a challenge with the laptops and tablets that they needed to access school. And so we didn't just give them the scholarships, we also granted them gifts of tablets and laptops to facilitate their schooling, right? And we took that right across the over 100 devices because we wanted to help our children to access their education, right? And so that was one initiative we did. But we didn't stop there. Many of them had problems, many parents had problems coping with the pandemic situation. We offered special counseling for them. We set up a hotline to provide a special parenting helpline. In addition to that, we have adopted the St. Diego Health Center. And if you're from Spanish Town, St. Catherine, there's a health clinic there. And what we're doing is providing special assistance to the mothers at the maternity clinic, right? We are also providing financial education to high school students, those from grades 7 through to grade 9, from ages 12 to 14, where we have them involved in what is called the social enterprise, social entrepreneurship for secondary students. We're teaching them how to run a business, and we're helping them to become more aware of the needs of the society and the needs of their particular communities. So we're helping them to become social activists, right? But also teaching them financial literacy. And that has gone on extremely well. We are now in 14 schools, 14 high schools across Jamaica, right? And we think it's an excellent program, and the kids have given rave reviews. Their teachers have noticed how, much more attentive these students are and how their own formal education has improved as a result of their involvement in this program, in the social enterprise in secondary schools. We think it's a great program, right? So those are just some of the things we're doing to give back to the community. In VM Wealth Management, a new scholarship was launched, and Reds, I'm sure, will tell you about that when he speaks, a tertiary scholarship. Some great things are happening in VM. I think I need you to hear that. Do you agree some great things are happening in VM? Well, some international bodies have recognized that. And I'm listing for you some of the awards that were won over the period since we last met. Capital Finance International have rated us for 3 years in a row as the best financial advisor firm, not in Jamaica, but in the Caribbean. That's because of the emphasis that we have placed on financial education. That's how we're differentiating ourselves. When we're not selling your products, we're trying to understand, helping you to understand all the financial options that are available to you given your needs. And we provide you with the education that you need to be empowered to make the right decision. That's our emphasis, because we're trying to ensure that you can advance your financial well-being, and it's important. Knowledge is power. So we start with knowledge, and we are giving knowledge via direct conversations, via online webinars, right? Via presentations in town hall meetings like this. If you have a church meeting with 20 people there, we will turn up to give a talk. Free, no problem. Because we're interested in empowering people with education. And so we have done so many of these presentations individually and to groups in VMBS, in VM Wealth, in VM Pensions, right across the business, that we were recognized for our financial advice. We were, you know the Financial Times, right? The Financial Times has a publication called The Banker. And The Banker looked at all the banks and deposit-taking institutions across the Caribbean, not Jamaica only, across the Caribbean. And when they rated them based on their performance for 2020, all the institutions, in the midst of the pandemic, which institution was second across the entire Caribbean? VM. Some great things are happening in VM. And then, in this year now, the International Bank has rated us for 2021 as the best banking group in Jamaica, this time Jamaica, right? And of course, our people, because of the emphasis that we place on training and developing our people, the people who work with VM, including the stars we have here in the UK, we have been deemed, we were setting ourselves a goal of achieving Great Place to Work status by 2023. But you know what happened? When the people looked at us, they said that you, VM, are ready to be certified right now in 2021 as a great place to work. And we think that's a huge achievement for us. Right? So those are some of the things. But we're not stopping there. We're investing to create the future. So a few years ago, after we met, later in 2019, we purchased 30% of a fintech company based in Barbados, a peer-to-peer lender called Carolend. And really what that business model is, that Primrose is who always has cash, right? She can go online and indicate that she wishes to lend to some people who need cash, like Courtney, right? So I go online and I apply for a loan, and basically Primrose is matched with me, right? And that's how it works. That's what you call peer-to-peer lending. And Carolyn sits in the middle and earns a fee from that, right? So we purchased 30% of that business. They were operating in Barbados only at the time. Since then, they have come to Jamaica. And that 30% investment was made through VM Investments Limited. Rez Burchins is the CEO there. And we have appointed 2 directors. Peter Reed is one of the directors of Carolyn now. And since he has become a director, they have started operations in Jamaica. And we're doing what is called a VME loan through that facility, all online. No office business. Nobody even knows where the office of Carolyn is. Right? And we will shortly be starting in Trinidad and Tobago. But VM is owning 30% at the parent level. So we are benefiting from the business done Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica, and wherever else they go after that. We have also through the funds that we control, acquired up to 44% of a property company in Jamaica, a property investment company in Jamaica called Kingston Properties Limited. You have heard of KP REIT, some of you, right? So through the funds that we control, we now have a 44% stake there. In fact, actually, if we add some other funds, it's actually over 70%. We have agreed to purchase 100% of an entity in Barbados, a mutual fund company in Barbados called Republic Fund. You know of Republic Bank in Trinidad? Well, they have a fund management company in Barbados, and we have agreed to purchase that company with a view to expanding our wealth management business in Barbados. Right? And it's subject to regulatory approval. We don't have all the approvals from the regulators as yet, but we're well on the way there. And so those are just some of the things that we're doing to create the future. Now, we've also, at the end of 2020, decided at the board level to establish a new company called VM Innovations Limited. That's VM's 100% owned fintech company. And we have already launched our first product. It's called PropMan. Property is a property management and community management solution, putting together property owners, the landlords, right? The people who live in the properties, the security companies, and online you'll have everything you need to do to manage your property. If you have an apartment building, a townhouse complex, even one unit, right? And that's an exciting thing. It's taking Jamaica by storm, everybody know. Actually, we have designed it for residential properties. We have signed up. The first client is Phoenix Park over in Portmore, almost 2,000 houses there. They have signed up. Others are signing up now, but people who own commercial properties have now said they are interested in using PropMan for their commercial properties. So we're very pleased with that. Now, here's a special section I want to share with you. This is about, remember I've said great things are happening in VM, right? Great things are happening where? In VM. Well, here's the story now. Greater things are about to happen in VM. And that's what I want to share with you about in the context of our group restructuring. Now, what is going to happen in the next couple of weeks is that you'll hear more news about a reorganization taking place in the VM group. You have the opportunity to hear from us firsthand, even before some people in Jamaica. We'll put it out in the press. There's a Gleaner article recently, but you know people don't read, right? So that's why some of them won't know. But you're going to be hearing from us now about what is happening. So we have written to the central bank. We wrote to the central bank in March of last year, outlining the Bank of Jamaica, outlining a proposal to have the VM group restructured in a way that would achieve some objectives. One, to comply with the Banking Services Act, under which we are regulated. Two, to maintain our mutuality, because we are really committed to the mutual structure. Right? And three, to facilitate the acceleration of our growth. And the Bank of Jamaica took their time, they reviewed our proposal, and in February of this year, they responded approving our proposal. All right? Now, what does the proposal involve? And that's what we're going to take you through. It involves a completely new structure for the group. I'm going to take you through some guiding principles, the implementation process, the outcomes that you can expect, and your role in facilitating this exercise. Now, pay attention. If you want to take pictures of the slides, you can do that. All right? We're going to implement a new ownership structure. The financial regulations have continued to change in Jamaica. The regulators have to update them. Sometimes it's the international banks or the group of central banks based in Switzerland that will say some things need to change because we want to improve risk management. Sometimes it's a local environment that requires a change. But for whatever reason, the regulations keep changing to ensure that you, as the depositors, are better protected. Because at the end of the day, that's what the regulators are interested in, right? That the depositors are protected. The VM group is also interested in that. And so we take very, very seriously the need to be compliant with the regulations at all times, right? So there are a couple of things, and I'm going to repeat in some of the things that I already said. Some principles that have guided us in doing this restructuring proposal. Firstly, we want to continue the mutuality. VM must continue to be owned by all our members. Do you realize that you're owner of VM? When you open the deposit account, especially if you opened it in Jamaica, you signed to not only be a depositor, but you said that you're a member of the group, meaning that you're a member of VMBS, right? Means that you have a vote at our annual general meeting. Now, for those who opened accounts here because of the regulations in the UK, if your account was opened from here, then the laws wouldn't have allowed you, the securities legislation here would not allow you to open that type of account, right? So he said you would open a deposit account, but you wouldn't become a member because they wouldn't want you to be purchasing shares from here, right? But those who opened their accounts from Jamaica, you would have shares in VM, right? A share account. We want to continue to be owned by our members and to therefore deliver the benefits of the growth to our members. So what we're proposing to do is implement a new structure. Here's what the new structure will look like. We're going to have at the top a company called VM Group. Right now, today, VMBS is the deposit-taking institution in the group. That's where you have your deposits, your savings account. But it also plays the role of being the holding company of the group. So VMBS currently owns VM Investments Limited, VM Pensions Management, VM Money Transfer, VM Finance, VM Overseas, VM Property Services, VM Innovations. All of them are owned by VMBS. Everybody understands that? It is both deposit-taking institution as well as holding company. What we're going to do now is to introduce a new holding company that is not a deposit-taking institution. It's a pure-play holding company called VM Group Limited. That company will be a mutual. And so your mutual interest, your shares in VMBS will be transferred to which company? No, look at this slide and tell me. Which one is at the top? VM Group. So VM Group will be the mutual holding company owned by the members. Everybody understand? So if you have a deposit with VMBS, your shares, your ownership will be in VM Group. Everybody clear? Good. VM Group will then own VM Financial Group, and then, on the other hand, VM Innovations. VM Financial Group will be the holding company for all the financial companies in the group. That includes now VMBS, the Building Society, VM Investments, VM Pensions, VM Money Transfer, VM Finance, etc. Everybody clear? If it's a financial company, regulated financial company, it will be owned by VM Financial Group. By VM Financial Group. If it's not a financial regulated entity, it will be under the VM Innovations banner. So that's where VM Property Services will be, for example. All right? Because that's not a regulated financial entity. All right? So that's what we're going to do. 3 new entities at that level. VM Group, the mutual holding company. VM Financial Group, which will be the holding company for all the financial entities. That VM Financial Group will be regulated by the central bank. Everything in there. Pension, wealth management, building society, remittances, everything in there will be regulated and supervised by the Bank of Jamaica. And some of them by the Financial Services Commission. Right? Now, VM Group at the top of the structure will be where you're, as members, you have an interest there. So that company is going to focus on members' rights and benefits, and it will provide strategic direction for the other companies, right? At the next level down, VM Financial Group will provide a full suite of financial products and services. And VM Innovations will look to do now new opportunities for growth. Anything that is not a financial product that you need a license to do, it will be done through VM Innovations. Everybody clear? All right? And largely technology-based products will be done there. All right? So what you're going to then have is a strong group. Strong group. Savings and loans through the Building Society, investments and wealth management, pensions, remittance services, insurance, commercial lending through the UK VM Finance, right? Strong, sound, competitive financial group. Everybody see where we're going? And that will be the VM Financial Group. Your member benefits will not change. In fact, they will get even more, because remember, the members are at the top at VM Group, right? So the things that you're currently benefiting from, low fees or no fees, higher savings rate, lower mortgage rates, the attractive products, all of those will continue as benefits in the new structure. It's just that because we'll be growing, we'll be able to grow faster because of the greater flexibility. These benefits are likely to be even greater, right? So the member benefits, you'll be able to access benefits through attractive products, low lending rates and fees. And we're going to have now, because we have now freed up VM Innovations and VM Property Services, they can do so much more, because currently, because they're owned by a deposit-taking institution, they're restricted to providing services only to VMBS. But now VM Innovations will be able to provide their services all over the world, right? To sell Propman anywhere in the world, right? And that's what we really want. Same thing for VM Property Services. And so we're going to get more efficiency, greater innovation, greater market share. The VMBS that you know, VM Building Society that you know and have your savings account with, will continue just the same. No change. Only that your membership moves to VM Group. So I've listed all the things here. The representative offices here in the UK will remain open, existing services available to the members. The branches in Jamaica will remain open, same services, right? I mean, we're trying to shift more and more things to digital, and that is happening here in the UK as well. Your savings at VM, same savings account, safe, just the same. Good interest rates, just the same. Low fees, just the same, right? You continue to have full access. In fact, you have better access now, as you heard from two of our members, through our online banking and the mobile app. And we'll continue to provide you with products and services to meet your needs. So as far as your banking activities are concerned, no change. Say it with me. No change. Right? Only better. Right? So here's your role now. Those of you who are members. We are, having received the Bank of Jamaica approval, we now have to get the approval of the members. Before that, though, the Supreme Court has to give us some instructions about how this vote is to be held with our members. Right? So we have prepared some papers and we have submitted it to the Supreme Court. And we now have a date with the court of July 5th or 7th? 7th, July 7th. We now have a date with the Supreme Court of July the 7th. That's when it starts, right? Hopefully, at some point in July, the court will give us approval to call a special members meeting for the members to vote on this restructuring that I just took you through, right? And we will ask you, those of you who are members, to participate in that vote. And we're looking for your support. Basically, we're asking you to support it because this restructuring will ensure a stronger VM group, a more flexible VM group, a group that is more compliant with the regulations, right? And will help you to preserve your rights, because right now you own everything in the group, and that's what we want to continue, right? So next step, court, July, then members meeting, then members will vote, and then the new structure, we have to present your vote to the court, and then we will implement the new structure, hopefully early in the new year. Right? So that's kind of what I just said. Proposal will be presented at a special members meeting. You'll be required to vote. You have the flexibility to attend the meeting online. Please listen out. Online, in person, via proxy. If you're going to attend via proxy, complete the proxy form and appoint a representative to vote, or you can join online and vote yourself. Right? So basically, I think that's it. We are waiting response to the application. Well, we got the response. We have a date now. And we will advertise the members' meeting when we know what date that is. Once we have the votes of the members, the new structure will take 12 months to be fully operational. Right? So that's it from me. Hope I was crystal clear. You like what's happening in VM? Are great things happening in VM? Are greater things to come in VM? Good. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you very much, our President and CEO. And I'd like now to introduce Mr. Peter Reid, Chief Executive Officer, Building Society Operations. I'm not really a stranger to us. Mr. Reid is a career banker with over 30 years' experience in the financial services sector, with expertise in sales and management, credit, financial analysis, financial advisory, and deal structuring. Prior to joining VM, he was a district vice president providing sales and service and strategic leadership for the Bank of Nova Scotia Jamaica Limited. Peter holds a Bachelor of Arts degree with honors in international studies from York University, Toronto. And he has held a number of directorships on boards of several enterprises, including Grace Kennedy Services Limited, Guardian Life, National Water Commission. Welcome, Peter, for the question and answer period.
Good evening, Brixton. You should them give me the hard part. I have to answer all. Well, you have to ask the questions, and they're going to rely on me to answer them or direct them to the persons who can actually answer them. So this is your time now to question us, to interrogate us, to ask us anything that's on your mind, because you are the owners of Victoria Mutual, the members, those of you with accounts, and this is your Victoria Mutual, and this is your opportunity to query, ask, and it's our duty to respond. So don't be shy. I've never known Brixton to be shy. I had lunch today with a gentleman who is a Tottenham Hotspur fan. Let me just say up front, I am not a Tottenham Hotspur fan. I'm not a Chelsea fan. I'm not a City fan, not a United fan. I'm an Arsenal man. So let's get it straight. Anybody ask me anything or say anything bad about Arsenal, going to have to deal with me. But everything else, Courtney, Rez, Leighton can answer. So please, who has a question? Don't be shy. That gentleman in the cap.
Can you hold up your hands, please? Let's ask them to.
Any Spurs fan in here, though? Any Tottenham fans in here? Liverpool.
What's the name of that? Yes, Peter.
Tottenham? Oh, yes, Donna. Yes, sir, go ahead.
All right, Peter, just a quick one. When are you going to start facilitate cryptocurrency?
Well, you'd have to start with the hardest question. Eh? All right.
No, not really.
No, it's hard for me because the truth of the matter is that crypto is not legal tender in Jamaica. So, Bank of Jamaica, we have to do everything through the Bank of Jamaica. So, right now they're doing what they call a digital currency where persons can have a digital wallet and buy things using a digital wallet. That is the extent of the technological advance, so to speak, that is in Jamaica at this point in time. Crypto is not on the radar of the Bank of Jamaica yet, but as soon as it becomes as it comes on the radar of the Bank of Jamaica, we will start to consider it. With Scotia. In Jamaica? I'm not aware, but you can let me know afterwards what they're doing, okay? Yeah.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm seeing where the IPO is taking over Jamaica, vastly, massively. What is in place for VMBS as us as clients to tap into that market?
Okay, I'll let Reza answer the question.
Yeah, I actually love that question. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Forgive me, I'm trying to bring up some stats just to kind of make a point to your point. Yeah, so for those of us who don't understand what he said a while ago, when a company lists on a stock market for the first time, it's called an IPO, initial public offering. And what has been happening is that in Jamaica, a number of companies have been listed on the JC, Jamaica Stock Exchange, JC, and they've been doing very well. So earlier, Courtney spoke about Dollar Financial Services that VM Wealth listed, tried to raise 500, we got subscriptions for 5 billion Jamaican dollars. That stock was listed at $1 Jamaican dollar. Within 2 weeks, the stock price had gone up to $4. So if you had bought at 1, stock price at 4, you'd have seen a material gain. So VM Wealth Management is a stockbroker licensed with Jamaica Stock Exchange, and we facilitate that, right? So when Courtney spoke about the IPO platform, it simply meant that once you have what's called a JCSD number, which simply means open an account at VM Wealth Management, we'll give you a JCSD number. With that JCSD number, you can steer anywhere on the globe and buy into any IPO on the Jamaican market. That's one. Secondly, with that JCSD number, you get access to a platform offered by the Jamaica Stock Exchange called JTrader, and anywhere on the globe, you can buy and sell Jamaican stocks from your phone, your laptop, your tablet, whatever it is. So VM Wealth Management is here to offer that service. The reason why I'm on this trip, first time I'm coming, right, on these road shows, is ensure that our members are aware of these opportunities in Jamaica. So obviously, the VMBS plays a very important role in starting Jamaicans on the road to financial independence. Open a savings account is the very first step. The second step, as we start off in life, you want a car, Peter give you a car loan. Then you say you want a house, Peter give you a mortgage. Then you say you want investment property, Peter will then give investment property. But as you look across the globe, you're hearing all of these words. I hear crypto, I hear IPO, I hear bonds. And people are saying, how can we as a member of VM capitalize on these opportunities? And that's why VM Wealth Management was started close to 30 years ago to offer our members in Jamaica and outside Jamaica these opportunities. So later on, I'm going to elaborate on some of these products and services. But great question.
So Rez just gave his entire presentation, so you don't really have to ask him no questions, and we can get to the meet and greet and have, but you can just call him and ask him for some more details. Any questions? Come on, you must have a lot of questions. You haven't seen Courtney for 2.5 years. You must have questions for him.
Yes. Is it on? Yeah, I'd just like to know what age did you start engaging with young people about the financial world? It's not common conversation that you have in the home. We don't talk about money or finances, and we need to teach the children early what we learn late.
All right, so VM was one of the first institutions to start with school children. I'm talking about primary, prep school children opening savings accounts. And we have found that persons who opened savings accounts when they were 5, 6, 7, because we don't close accounts, those accounts still exist. So when they become adults and they start working, we've been trying to reach out to them, and they realize they still have a VM account. Once they have a VM account, they come in and start having a conversation about mortgages, other investments, and so on. So the short answer to your question is that we don't have an age limit. We will talk to schools that have 5 and 4-year-olds. The parents, though, obviously will be the ones who will institute or instigate an account opening for them, and teach them the saving ethic. As you give them money, you put 50% of what I give you in a savings account, and they come up through the years. So when they become teenagers or university-age students, they have this concept of saving and investing already embedded in them, and they start from there. Yes, we go into the school. Yeah, man. Before they go, yeah. Yes. We used to open accounts in the schools for them. But again, the regulators came in and said, you can't do that. So what you do is try and provide them with a financial education, and then you ask them to come to the branch and open the savings account then. And then the parents help us to educate. Primrose, you have a question? Oh, Primrose, boy, Leighton say you're an example, Primrose.
So when I was 7, my mother took me to Half a Tree for the first time with my 2 Paul Bogle money, and I opened my first account, $4. Then I fell in love with the school uniform in the school next door. So I ended up going to that school, Holy Childhood, and I ended up being the monitor for the grade 7 class savings, and every single class had a savings plan on a Friday morning. There was no classes, no teaching. The first half an hour was school savings, and woe be unto the child who don't have 10 cents. You can tell that I'm 25. Woe be unto the child that don't have a penny to put in their account that day, because the encouragement is you save whatever you have.
Welcome, High Commissioner.
You
have a question? Leighton? All right. And then you.
Good afternoon. I was asked to ask this question. They wanted to find out for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation if they have a graduate, their children, recent graduate from university, what are, in terms of internship, being able to go to Jamaica for a time? Does your company offer any kind of program, sort of call it a birthright kind of program, so to say, for the children of us who have been here for a while?
Okay, great question. So I'm not going to answer your question, I'm going to answer my question, if you'll oblige me.
Red, there's an addition to it. One sec, Red.
Okay, sure.
And by extension, what are you doing to encourage these younger generations to own a piece of the rock? It is very important because we're aware that the foreigners are buying out Jamaica, and pretty soon we won't have any ownership of the rock. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. No problem. What's your name? What's her name, Leighton?
That's Vivine.
Vivine. Okay, great question, Vivine. So in VM Investments Limited, as Courtney said before, we are the listed company within the VM group. We're listed on Jamaica Stock Exchange. We have what's called a CSR policy, corporate social responsibility policy, and one of those pillars is certainly youth empowerment. So last year, we launched a scholarship, the VMIL Maurice C. Robinson Scholarship, named after our former chairman, who is a former barrister, Maurice C. Robinson. And then this year, we also launched an internship program to anybody, not only VM members in Jamaica or VM members in the diaspora, but any tertiary any child doing tertiary education. They will be employed to the organization for 3 months, and then thereafter, most likely will be selected for permanent employment. So we haven't separated the diaspora from members. We have opened up to all persons. But it doesn't mean that in the future we can tweak that model. That's the first thing. The second thing, and I think Courtney said it and Peter said it, we're very big. I think we're the biggest, hugest, biggest, whatever Jamaican word they want to use in terms of financial education. Name a financial institution, they do not do it better than us or more than us. Every month we're having a webinar, a seminar, lots of podcasts, lots of information to ensure that persons at home and persons abroad are investing appropriately, right? Courtney said it before, too many Jamaicans are not saving, too many persons are not contributing to our pension plan, and we're very serious on this mantra, transforming your everyday. So I want to also make that point. Let me give another example. When we launched the Dollar Financial Services IPO, they got 2,000 new investors. So these are persons that were new to equities, brand new to equities. First time they've ever bought a stock on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, right? 2,000 persons were brought into the fold. Obviously, that's a small number compared to 6 million people. 3 million here, 3 million in the diaspora, and 3 million in Jamaica that we need to bring on board. But certainly Rome was built in a day. But certainly we believe that we are playing our part to accelerate that growth. I mean, me being here is to highlight to the persons present that, there are so many opportunities in Jamaica. Buying a stock, buying a unit trust, buying a real estate fund. So, you'll see at the end of the evening that we're very serious about this thing called transforming your everyday. Because, to your point about being nationalistic, there are opportunities in Jamaica, and we want to ensure that we partake of those opportunities. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Peter, for the question and answer period. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Seth George Ramakon, CD, is the High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and non-resident ambassador to Finland, Ireland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Cyprus. A former senator in the Parliament of Jamaica, His Excellency served as Jamaica's Consul General to Toronto and the Dean of the Caribbean Corps, Consular Corps. He's a former Vice Chairman and Interim Executive Director of the Heart Trust National Training Agency, Executive Director of the Jamaica Institute for Political Education, and a board member of the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation. His Excellency is an ordained pastor and counseling psychologist and is married to the distinguished educator Dr. Lola Ramakon. Together they celebrate 46 years of marriage and they have 4 beautiful children. And His Excellency is no stranger to us because he has been here since 2016. Please welcome our High Commissioner.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I first of all would like to salute the members of the board of directors of VM Group and to express how excited I am to know that you're here again. The last time we saw you was, I think, in 2019, yes, and encounter that the COVID came in between and did all of what it had to do. And so, we're glad that you're here. And I greet you, ladies and gentlemen. I greet all of you. I first of all want to apologize for my late arrival, but I could not allow today to pass and not be here. Although we have been set back by COVID to a great extent, in Jamaica, for example, Jamaica lost 10% of its GDP in 2020. I mean, it was a big damage. But the exciting news is this, that in the space of the 2 years that have passed, Jamaica has not only recovered and been back to where it was pre-COVID times, but has surpassed it. For example, unemployment is lower than it was pre-COVID. And there are so many other things that have happened that have really caused Jamaica to have a good bounce back. But among the many things are companies like the VM Group. Their presence here is one of the greatest ways I know of for connecting with the diaspora and to educate. Because many people are here and they hear of things and sometimes negative things about Jamaica. But that's not the Jamaica that is in the Caribbean. Yes, we have problems. Yes, there are issues. But as you can see, there are more opportunities for you in Jamaica. I don't want to say it too loud, but then, yeah, more opportunities. And so what you are hearing today, I would love for you to pay as much attention and grasp it and make a use of it. Someone said the right thing there. Own a piece of the rock. Everybody is running down the rock. And the rock is becoming more and more expensive. And for that reason, the earlier you can take care of your piece of rock, the better off it will be. And so I encourage you, and I really thank you for turning out today. You know that this year celebrates the 60th year of Jamaica's independence. And it's a big, grand year for us. It means a lot to us because we have come from a far way, and because it also coincides with the Commonwealth Games that will be taking place in Birmingham. That is another replay of 2012, when you had the Olympics at the time of independence. And you know we were 1, 2, 3. In other words, Jamaica run and win first place, second place, third place. I don't believe there is going to be any less than that. Because I hear about some people, every day I take my phone, I see Shelley and Fraser, and I say, what are the name, Price, and I see all the names are coming up. Jamaica is big across the globe. I know you have business to do, so I'm not here to take up much of your time. But I really want to encourage you. You know, you are the backbone of the diaspora. You are the persons here who have been here over many years, and you are contemplating what to do. I want to tell you, there are more persons now applying to be citizens of Jamaica than before. There are more persons now applying for passport for Jamaica because people are feeling and hearing and understanding that Jamaica is a place of choice to live, to work, to raise families, and to do business. I won't go further than that. I will head back to you, but thank you so much for having me here this evening.
Thank you very much, High Commissioner. And just to mention that one of the important things that has happened for the Jamaica 60 is the publication of Jamaicans in Britain, A Legacy of Leadership. And copies are here. The High Commission team to my right have copies that will, for afterwards, and it's just £25. So I ask you to buy so that your children, in fact, I was at the High Commission one day doing the sales, and there was a gentleman who came up. He didn't have the cash. We never have no machine to put the card in. So he walked back down to the station at South Kensington, because there's a cash point there, got the money. When he came back, I said to him, why is it so important to you? He said, because my children must see what we all have been doing. Now our parents have done so much to make a life here in the UK and in wanting children, and if you read it for themselves. And so that's why he came to purchase the book. So copies are there for you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, High Commissioner. Thank you. Mr. Resworth Burchison is the Chief Executive Officer of VM Investments and VM Wealth Management. Rez is a Senior Vice President and CEO of VM Investments Limited and its subsidiary, VM Wealth Management. He was appointed CEO in January 2019 after a successful tenure as Deputy CEO of both businesses and CEO of VM Pensions Management Limited. He knew, you know, so I must listen carefully to who he is. Yes. He is results-focused, purpose-driven, and has an impressive record of success in the financial services industry. Before joining the VM Group, Rez had provided transformative leadership in senior roles, including CEO of Prime Assessment Management Limited, Vice President and General Manager of Pan-Caribbean Assessment Management Limited, with principal responsibility for managing Jamaica's largest unit trust, Sigma Unit Trust. Rez is well regarded by his industry peers, his team members and clients, and has received accolades for his contribution to the local financial landscape. Please welcome Rez to address us.
Thanks, Auntie Dale. I had a presentation, but I think when I was answering some of the questions before, I kind of gave my entire speech. Good evening, everybody. Everybody excited and energized? Everybody ready to invest in Jamaica? Invest in Jamaica?
Yes. Selena?
Okay, I'm going to pick on you all, even Selena. I was giving the answer a while ago, but you never want to answer. I was saying 5 billion, 5 billion, 5 billion. So I am Rez Burchinson. I am the CEO for VM Wealth Management Limited. And how I look at my role in VM. Okay, before I go on, Peter Gay was prepared. Where is Peter Gay was prepared? Yeah, wave your hand, wave your hand. So Peter Gay is one of the managers for sales in VM Wealth Management. So when I'm finished speaking at the end, should all give a name to her. When you go back to Kingston, she'll call all of you guys to open an account. But how I see my role and our role in the VM group, it's very simple. Very, very simple. Earlier we spoke about the nostalgia of walking into a branch and opening an account, that very first step to financial independence. And we all kind of remember that day when we opened our first account many years ago. And at the time, especially in that period, the road to wealth creation was either owning real estate or opening a savings account. And that's what our parents taught us. And that's what we all did. And actually our grandparents, certainly speak for myself, my grandparents, their idea of wealth creation was actually owning land. And it's still very, very, very important. And I actually really love real estate. But the world has evolved since then. And I said it before that the building society certainly has an important role in the first step, right? But that is not the only step. There are many more steps along the way, especially in 2022. There are many more steps. And for many of us in this room, outside this room, we're still on the first step. And with all the turbulence that's happening across the globe, and for where we want to be personally and as a people, we have to keep on trotting. We have to keep on trotting. So we save, we have a fixed deposit, we have a first house, we have an investment property, but there are many more instruments available now, many more, I don't want to use any big word, but many more asset classes available for all and sundry to invest in. It is not only open to a particular ilk, a particular class, it's open to all Jamaicans, right? And I'm talking about assets generally. So, what are some of these words that we hear? We hear about stocks. And we kind of cringe and step back and like, that sounds kind of risky. And we hear about bonds and similar sentiment, that's kind of risky, right? We hear about unit trust. And we say, boss, I don't know it, I don't understand it. We hear about mutual funds. And we say, boss, we don't know it, we don't understand it, and we step back. Fine? And I'm saying, as a people, and I'm being nationalistic now, is that we have to step forward and ask some important questions. So I love the question that was asked by the gentleman over there about crypto, and the question at the back by the gentleman about IPOs. Because these opportunities exist in Jamaica for all Jamaicans, actually for anybody on the globe. And the sentiment by the person at the back, the question was that we can't afford for persons to come and buy up Jamaica, and we do not participate in that growth. Let me give you some statistics. And I'm not being political, but I'm going to say for the past 8 years, up to COVID, the Jamaican economy did a major turnaround. Debt to GDP started falling, and all the variables started coming together. And COVID came. But the foundations were being laid and are being laid for stronger growth in the overall economy. And during a period of time, the Jamaican stock market was the number one, not number two, not number three. This little bit of Jamaica was the number one. Come on, Bloomberg, etc., etc., etc. But the question is, and while we brag about it, and we talk to our friends about it, and we drink a pint over it, the question is, how many persons participated in that wealth creation? How many persons of the 6 million Jamaicans on this dot, on this blue dot, how many persons participated in that wealth creation machine? And why didn't we all do it? Why? During that period of time, every year the Jamaican stock market rose on average 30%. Yet we step back and we look and we don't participate. And I understand that investments carry risk. And that's my job, to manage risk. That's Peter's job is to manage risk. And I have an elevated level of risk. But let me say something. And I'm very young, but it is said, and I've read the history books, that the Jamaican stock market survived the oil shocks of the 70s, structural adjustment of the 80s, Hurricane Gilbert of the 80s, FinSoc of the 90s, various debt exchanges. And I can tell you, anybody who participated in the stock market over that period would have been well taken care of. Well taken care of. My role is to say to Jamaicans, step forward, be bold, and understand something. I'm not telling anybody in this room to put all the money in stocks, far from. And please do not do it. And if you do it, I'm going to throw on the Bible, so I'm never tell you to do it, because I didn't tell you to do it. So do not do it. But you simply have to say, what percentage of my portfolio, based on my risk profile, based on my age, that I'm willing to invest into stocks. So for example, if you're like Primrose, who is 75, right? She may put 3% of her money in Jamaican stocks and buy stocks that provide a very good dividend flow. Right? What's your name?
Yeah.
Sophia. If you're Sophia, who is just leaving high school, right? And she has a long lead time ahead of her, she may say, I want to put 40% into stocks. First of all, if I lose it, if I lose some of it, I have time to recover. But really, Sophia doesn't need the money right now. She needs at 20, she needs the money at 60, 65. Right? Also, and I made a point before, Peter made a point, Courtney made a point, AC made a point, that we're here to guide you. It doesn't mean that we have a crystal ball, right? But we're here to guide you. So for dollar IPO, which we did 200%, our recommendation, we gave another recommendation this year, fast switch, 200%. And it doesn't mean that stocks that we recommended haven't fallen in value, but simply means that we are playing the long game. And the people who are wealthy play the long game. If you want to understand how people get wealthy, read a book, and there are many books about it. They play the long game. They don't buy today to sell tomorrow, they play the long game. And as a society, as a people, as an individual, we have to think long term. 3, 5, 10, 15. And we'll live it. In our communities, we see persons who are playing the long game. I wake up one morning and they own 15 houses on our blocks, and we're like, what was happening? While we were watching, they were investing. And my role is to say, step forward, invest more, and there are many opportunities in Jamaica. But you have to play the long game. You may buy a stock today at $1, it may go to 80 cents. But is the company going out of business? Do they have good management? Is the business growing? Play the long game. So I really want, perhaps, after we have ended, for us to continue the conversation. There's turbulence in this world. The US stock market is falling. Don't understand much about the UK stock market. But what I do understand, and I've been through many economic cycles, is that the world is not falling apart, nor is it coming to an end. Well, I don't know about that part of it, right? And I'm saying, play the long game. They're gonna be business cycles, but if we think long term, much like how persons in this room would have accumulated a lot of wealth in their residential property by playing the long game. If I ask somebody in this room when they bought their house, how much they pay for it, and how they struggled to make the mortgage payment, and after playing the long game for 15, 20 years, what's the equity in that house? Right? So my message again, I keep on repeating it, Jamaicans, step forward, understand investments. There are opportunities in Jamaica. VM Wealth Management is here to provide you with those opportunities. And there is no better partner than VM Wealth Management. Why? Because we all know, we all trust, we have all touched the brand, we have gotten great service from the brand. You know that we are persons of integrity. So this message, in closing, is not only for persons in this room. You guys are now ambassadors, you guys are now disciples of the message. What is the message? The message is investments in Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rez. And we're really happy to have you as a member of the team. Back to Peter to do the question and answer period.
Just before Peter goes, I know HC has to leave. But based on my experience coming here, especially on these visits in 2016, based on the feedback that I've had from you here and from other Jamaicans who have interacted with in the UK, I'm sure you'll join me in thanking Mr. Seth George Ramakan for the excellent work that he has done as Jamaica's High Commission to Britain since, when did you come? 2016. And no, he may, probably the next time will come, given the plans that he has and the government has, that he may not be here. So because he had already told you that he has expected to leave already. But he's still here, but I really wanted to publicly thank him on your behalf and on behalf of VM for the excellent work that he has done. And to wish him all the very, very best in the next chapter of life.
Thank you very much. Really an honor, really a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. Okay, HC. All right. Good. There.
You had a question, sir, right?
Peter, let me hold on.
Yes, Neville Johnson here. I'm not a banker. I was just really
Okay, I've heard the presentations and I hear what you say, Riz. And you sound very confident, and I get what you say, but I was just wanted to ask a question. What kind of provision for safety? You know, there seems to be a lot of changes going to be in the Victoria Mutual Society now, and I know you've been going for over 100 years, and you know, seems to be a lot going on. So what kind of safety procedures has been put in place? You know, that's what I'm thinking, because obviously there's a lot going on, and I'd like to know what provision has been put in place.
Okay, maybe I can help you with that. We have an entire risk management team that looks at every aspect of our business, financial, operational, any aspect of our business. We have risk parameters that we do not go beyond. And the intention is not to breach those risk parameters. Some of them are set by the Bank of Jamaica, some of them are set by the FSC, that's the Financial Services Commission, for Rez's side of the business. And if you know anything about our President Courtney, he's one of the most conservative men that exists in our financial landscape. So we take those risk parameters very seriously. We meet regularly. And when I say regularly, there's risk meetings every week, but there are executive risk meetings every month. And those, anything that is slightly askew is reported to the board, and nothing is done until we bring back those parameters within the limits that we set for ourselves. And the Bank of Jamaica, who is our regulator, comes in and tests our business and our operations against those risk parameters. And if they have any concerns, we are written to, and we have to remedy any deviation from those risk parameters. I hope that helps. Okay. Yes. There's some brakes on the car. Okay, it's not just accelerator.
Good evening, Marcy Morgan. My question's around credit cards, which I've asked literally every time you've had these events.
Right.
So are you able to provide an update in relation to credit cards?
I have some news for you. We're going to launch credit cards July 1. Our credit cards, the Victoria Mutual. Courtney actually has a credit card that he can show you that we're going to launch. But coming fast on the credit cards will be the international debit card, a Visa debit card. So those of you who have bank accounts in Jamaica at the branches can access your money from your high street ATM. And that to me is, you have to bring people closer to their money, not further. You see, when I go further, you don't even hear what I said. But not further away, but closer. So we'll be working on international debit cards as we launch our credit cards.
My question is there anything you're able to do to create more employment for the young people? And also, how are you going to encourage a lot more people to take up pension plan for when they get older? Because when you're young, you don't think you'll ever get to 60.
Old, right.
It seems like 100 years away. So, is there going to be a lot more advertisement or teaching in schools or such forth?
Yes.
So forth?
We're actually doing that right now. So let me answer your first point, your last point first. On the pension side, we have a very active plan, especially for self-employed persons who don't think about pension plans, and the persons that they employ don't think about pension plans. So we have a drive to encourage them to set up this approved retirement scheme. I think Rez mentioned it. What it is really and truly is it's almost a compulsory saving towards your pension. And that compulsory saving that is taken out of your paycheck every month is reinvested so that it can grow. And that would be a pension plan. Because relying on the National Insurance Fund, which is the government's pension plan, is not a strong strategy for when you get into, your retirement years. On the point about employment, we do a lot of work through our foundation to encourage persons, because we can't employ everybody in Jamaica. VM is not going to operate like that. And with a digital strategy, it really is about more self-direction of our members using the digital tools for their banking services and their investment services. So really how we contribute to the national good is by working through our foundation with scholarships, with work with employment during the summer, work programs, and preparing people for life, because we can only do so much. But we're not the only ones doing that. The other companies are doing it. Grace Kennedy are doing it too. Other institutions are doing it. And so it's really going to take, I guess the old saying is a village to raise a child. So it means that all of us have to be deliberate in trying to educate, provide training, and subsequently employment. But what I will tell you is that young people in Jamaica are becoming more entrepreneurial. And you saw that during COVID. They've created their own jobs. And trying to get them back into an office situation and so on is somewhat of a challenge, because they have found ways to monetize their skills and their education on their own. So it's a good thing, but for those who aren't that way inclined, we have to try and support them and bring a safety net to them.
One second. Soon come, Marcel. So Mrs. Ruby Martin wants to know, what would you refer, she's over that side, I was going to repeat the question for her.
Mm-hmm.
What would you refer the building society to be, given the changes? No.
What would I what?
Refer to the building society to be. Would it still be a mutual? Will it be a firm? Will it be
no,
a bank?
okay, so the building society in the restructured, is that the question? The building society in a restructured Victoria Mutual Group. Okay, that's not the actual question, Mr. Smith. Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Sure, ask me.
Oh.
He's coming with the mic. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Peter. Come in. Yeah.
My actual question is, what are you, when I said you, I mean the society, the building society, what are you actually doing to help a member who has been with the society for over 50 years and getting up in age? I think they need some sort of support or help from the society. For example, say one has been in the society for over 50 years, getting up in age, needs to know, to get some sort of help, information, how to go about doing business in Jamaica. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know I'm not making myself very clear. For example, this person whom I'm referring to is far up in age. They have a home in Jamaica. They need to they needed to have sold the home. They contacted the building society and asked for help how to go about it, but got no proper help. Yes? They needed help to go about doing this business. So, what are you doing to help such person or these people?
Yeah. All right. I think I understand the question. I'm surprised because if the transaction is to help the person sell their home, monetize it, and remit the proceeds of the sale to them, that's our business. That's what we can do. But in selling a property in Jamaica, there are a number of parties involved. It has to go through a lawyer who will protect your interests. So you'd have to choose a lawyer. We can't choose a lawyer for you. We can give you a list of lawyers and you do your research to figure out who you want to represent you, because it would be a conflict of interest for us to suggest a lawyer to the person. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. That doesn't mean that.
In agreement. You're right. Okay, let me finish. Okay, fair enough. Yes, fair enough. So you select a lawyer. We can sell the property on your behalf, but when the carriage of sale, that means when the sale has to go through to the person who is buying it, you have to have an attorney who represents your interests and protects your interests, because the buyer is going to have an attorney who is protecting their interests. And the two lawyers will speak and an agreement will be struck. And then if an agreement is struck, the sale will be made. Once the sale is made, then the proceeds from the buyer has to come to you through your lawyer. So in selecting a lawyer, it has to be somebody who you have absolute confidence in. And then once the sale and the proceeds come, the seller. The owner of the house, yes, the seller. Yes.
There you are.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what's about.
Mm-hmm.
The person of the age has nobody.
No family member?
No.
Okay.
You be innocent. You are.
I'm talking about, yes.
You be getting.
I understand when you say you, yeah. And there's no family member to guide. Okay.
They need help to do their business.
Yes, I understand.
So you
Mm-hmm.
should have some more technique to help the person.
All right. I think I understand where you're going. Right, and I will say today, that does not exist. That does not exist. I can't, as a society, I cannot step in as your family member or your advisor as to how you are to conduct your business. What I can do is probably put you on to persons who could help, but as you're saying, this person is old and really doesn't have the ability to interrogate whether this lawyer or advisor is a sound advisor, an honest advisor, and so on. So it is a peculiar situation, to be honest, and while it may exist in other families, we rarely encounter it. So we don't have a business model around that would be protective of this elderly person. Just a minute.
So, in spite of 56 years,
Relationship. A relationship.
Yes.
Yes.
There's no way in which
Well, no. I don't have that today.
Peter, could we, in the interest of time, could we take her, Mrs. Martin?
Yeah,
after?
wait, let's just finish it.
Okay.
Today, we don't have that, but it is something that you have brought to our attention that requires consideration.
I am that is all
No. Yes. No, but I take your point. I know. Yes. Yes. It's something that is close to your heart. Yes. Yes. No, that's okay. That's fine. But what I'm saying to you is that today I don't have that construct to help that person. But it is something that we can take away, consider. Okay? And see if we can come up with a plan that would satisfy exactly what you have expressed. Because I'm sure there are others like that.
because I'm not asking you. I didn't say I am the
No, I know, no, man. I understand you're speaking on behalf of somebody. Yes, I understand.
So, I think it's fair serving, giving your service, even giving your service to the
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Even giving your service to the government, they expect something. They got top of your pension,
Right.
help in some form.
Right. Yes, I understand. I understand. Thank you for your question.
Peter.
Yes, sir.
Peter. Yeah.
No, this gentleman.
No, she was here. She was here first.
All right, let me just finish.
Okay.
All right, please, go ahead.
Just in terms of this, just a question really for VM. Is the foundation set up as a separate entity? Okay. Because really just thinking about this, because I sit as a board member at EY, Ernst & Young. Everybody knows EY, Ernst & Young, one of the fourth biggest financial institutions. Just to try to get around the regulation, if VM could consider this from a charity perspective in providing some level of support for elderly people, to advise them on legal support, because if they're by themselves, it is a need. It's definitely a need within the elderly community, within the United Kingdom as well as other diaspora regions. It's just something to consider in terms of best practices of other very large, heavily regulated institutions to seek a way in which we can assist the diaspora elderly people in a matter like this.
Hi. I'd like to ask a question about that wealth management you were talking about. Sure. Yes, it does sound very intimidating, and you're saying get involved. Two questions. What's the minimum you can invest?
10,000 Jamaican dollars.
Okay. And could you do that from the UK?
Correct.
Okay.
I like you.
Good evening. First of all, just to address the gentleman and the lady beside the gentleman. In this borough, Lambeth, especially Brixton, there are lots of community services which serve the black elderly in our community. I'm a member of the Black Cultural Archives just across the road. We have several advice surgeries. You can always come in for any advice on any matter. Okay? I haven't finished. I haven't finished. My question now was, when we talk about the diaspora, which is us here, but also you talk about everybody owning a piece of the rock. I want to know how local people are able to buy into these services to own a piece of the rock. I'm a frequent resident. I'm a resident between both countries, okay? So every 6 months or so, I see property prices and land prices rising beyond even levels of the people in the UK. So how do the local people, especially people that may not have a formal education, say domestic workers, for example, but they're earning their salary, how do you support them in opening up your accounts so that eventually they can buy a piece of the rock before we come in and buy the rock at the prices, because they can no longer, even with NHT, etc., they can no longer afford what the prices of the escalation of the prices. I know Primrose spoke about going into schools, which is really good, but is that schools island-wide or just in the more affluent areas?
No, it's all right. To answer that, the question that you posed lastly, is island-wide. I mean, the school program is school program. So where there's a school, there is a program. There should be a program. The barrier to entry of owning real estate in any market, including Jamaica, is high. There's no getting around it. The National Housing Trust was set up in order to support persons to be able to buy homes. But in order to be able to buy homes, homes have to be built at an affordable price. Okay? Developers, for the most part, are not encouraged to do that type of development because money is expensive, labor is expensive, and for them to get a return, there would have to be some sort of guarantee provided by the government, for argument's sake, so that they could do that type of building. We do not have that type of program now. What the government is speaking about now is a rent-to-own program where they will build the homes, persons can rent them, and part of the rental that they pay will go towards home ownership. Right, shared, right, sure.
The diaspora are the ones that can keep coming back to buy property and land, and when the local people can't, it just heightens the crime rates on the island because they see it, they remain in poverty. We've been abroad for X amount of time, we're able to go back and buy.
Yes.
And it's okay for us, but I just really want to add how it includes the local people.
Right.
Really includes them. Some of them that may not even have the ID to open the accounts.
All right. Okay, you've made a relationship between diaspora people coming home and yeah, I don't know about that relationship, so I will bow to your experience or your observations. I really don't have an answer for you. The truth of the matter is that, you know, people are people wherever you go, and you know, whatever idiosyncrasies or prejudices or upset or hurt that people may feel is beyond most of our control. So really, it's the government has to find a way to put people in homes and houses where they can read or write, whether they pay taxes or don't pay taxes. That really is a responsibility of government. And therefore, if they can find a way to do that, it would go a long way to alleviate poverty and upset and hurt and crime and every other ill that we see. Okay?
Peter, Jason Baker with Morelands want to build on your point to answer her question.
Sure.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, Brixton. There's no Jamaicans not in this hall room tonight. Good evening, Brixton. All right. My name is Jason Baker. I'm the marketing manager for Moreland Development Company Limited. And I've heard some questions being asked that Moreland Development has already provided the solutions for. So that is true. We have very expensive properties, but we also have properties that were designed for civil servants. So our Palmbrook property in La Covia, St. Elizabeth is just as nice as any of our other properties, and we started selling those at 2.5 million Jamaican dollars. A single person, can go to NHT and get $2.5 million to borrow to buy land. It was current, it got sold out during COVID. So it got sold out. The last time we were here in 2019, we were selling that property. And people bought. Well, we are going to Trelawney to get our next project. We're looking at creating phase 4 of Palmbrook, so we will have affordable properties for people. We also build on your land. So if you have land in Jamaica, we'll build on it for you. What about Portland? Yes, man, we'll build in Portland. You have lots of property in Portland? All right then. So we offer solutions, and we have a booth at the back, so people who want to find out more about Moreland Development and what we offer can visit us at our booth. Thank you.
Put it up.
Yes. Hello, good evening. My name is Patricia Mackenzie Thomas, and I'm from One Step Forward International Social Care Services. And I'd like to find out how you'd get involved with VM's foundation. How do we get involved?
Okay, so actually the foundation has a website through the VM group website. We invite volunteers as well as persons to donate to the foundation. So we have actually established a bank account at VMBS. If you wish to donate some of the projects, you remit funds to that bank account. But we are inviting people to get even more involved. And in fact, Leighton, our Chief Representative Officer, is working with the CEO of the VM Foundation with a view to identifying some specific ways in which the diaspora can get more involved, even beyond the donation of funds. So you should stay tuned and listen out for that. All right? Pardon me? Yes. Yes. I can't answer on that as yet because we have some specific programs that we're running now. If their services could be utilized for those programs, then that would be great. If not, then we would have to think about how else their volunteer services could be used. But we are encouraging people. So, for example, the program that we have with the Adopter Clinic at the St. Diego Health Center in Spanish Town, probably that would be a good opportunity because our Spanish Town branch team members work there, go visit from time to time. Probably that would be a good opportunity for the social workers to interact with the mothers of the babies. That, I'm just raising that as one possible opportunity. But as I said, please allow Leighton and Samantha Charles, the CEO of the foundation, to have some discussions about the best ways for you to get involved.
All right, so
Yeah.
we're going to take 4 more questions because in the interest of time, we'll have to stop. 2 on Zoom, and then 2 from this side of the room. First question, Courtney.
Yeah.
Will you and Peter be in New York to host an event like this since we have a New York rep office? That's a Zoom question.
Answer is yes, but we can't say when.
Okay, good.
Right? And yes, but we're not sure. Probably, most likely, it will not be for the remainder of 2022, but we can always schedule one for 2023.
Great.
Yeah.
And
All
the
right,
other
here
question
answer.
is,
Yeah.
where can I go to find properties in Jamaica to buy?
We can go on the website of VM Property Services Limited. That's VMPS. Anyway, VM Property Services Limited.
Yeah, so it's
right?
vmps.com or vmpropertyservices.com.
Yeah, vmps.com or vmpropertyservices.com. All of the properties that are available for sale that have been officially listed on any realtor, with any realtor in Jamaica, are available through that website. What you have to do is to put the type of property that you're interested in, whether you wish to, which parish, how many bedrooms you're looking for, apartment, single family home, etc. Put those specifics in, and then the search engine will provide you with a list that matches your criteria. Right? So that's what happens there. Yeah.
Hello, good evening. My name's Selina Carty, and I'm very grateful to be here as a result of my friend Primrose Granville. I'm a genealogist, so I help people to understand their ancestry. And I got my Jamaican citizenship and my 2 children's Jamaican citizenships as a result of the journey. But the lack of understanding of what it means to build the place that you are ancestrally from is an issue that I think that our community is suffering with. So when you talk about investing in Jamaica, that's invested into a country that a lot of people feel detached from. And then when you start talking about markets and things that we see the Western world doing, when we look at our island and we look at our country, we don't think that we're as equipped to do it as everybody else. When we look at the statuses and we're number 1 and number 2, I don't think that's really permeating within our communities for them to understand that how we invest and how we train ourselves and train the next generations to invest is something based on the models that we create ourselves. So when we're looking at the models that you have in regards to the training and the webinars that you say you have, I'm not sure how accessible they are. Although they're online, I'm not sure, because I haven't seen them. I get a lot of emails from VM, so I'm very updated with what's going on. But in regards to the webinars to learn about some of these areas that we can then go on and share, is there a way? Well, thank you.
We have a VM Group YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel will be several webinars, some produced by VM Building Society, some produced by VM Wealth. Please check it out tonight and share. For example, the Wealth team produces once every, you have a recent set, right?
Every 2 months there's a webinar. We have podcast. We're on Twitter. We're on IG. Not yet on TikTok, but we're very active on social media.
And Peter's team do some pretty regular stuff as well. So check it out. If you don't find it, you call me, right? And share. Once you've found them, I beg you to share. Share. All right? Thank you. Good.
Yeah. Good evening. This is a question to the wealth management.
Yeah.
Is there crowdfunding opportunities to allow investors to invest in businesses? So I'm not talking about real estate or stocks, but people back at home who have local businesses. So example, if a young person's got a business like a clothing line, but someone like myself from the UK can invest, help to build that business, and maybe ask for dividends, but again, it's helping to build local businesses back at home.
Okay.
If not, why is that? Why are we not having that?
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. Great question. So we don't have that, a crowdfunding model. But let me tell you what we have coming. Next week, Thursday, we're going to launch our first private equity fund. Simply means it's going to be funded with $50 million US. Quite a bit of that is coming from VMIL, VM Investments Limited. And the objective is to invest in SMEs to help them to grow, right? Anybody can invest in that fund, but we are launching the fund, and after launch, anybody can invest in the fund across the globe. So you won't be investing in one company, you'll be investing in a pool of companies, and our objective, in conjunction with the Development Bank of Jamaica and our partners, is to go in, give them some capital, give them mentorship, give them market access, and one day allow them to list on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So I don't know what you're suggesting, but we have a different model. And in addition to that, most recently, VM Investments Limited in a small food manufacturer called Home Choice Limited. Home Choice Limited, they do lime juice, if you know the Home Choice lime juice, and they also do pepper shrimp. And that investment, again, will provide employment. I think somebody over there asked a question about employment. That investment is close to a bit shy of 200 million Jamaican dollars. Allow them to grow their business, hire more persons, access to new markets, one day list on the Jamaica Stock Exchange and realize value. So we are very big in that space because we believe that in addition to allowing persons to invest in some of the other products, that this is an emergent field for us, and we believe that we can make a material impact in that regard.
Thank you very much, Rez. I'd like to also tell you that Ms. Nordia Teep, Managing Director of Integrated Diaspora Services, has a booth to the right. She traveled up from Jamaica today, and we're very happy to have her, so you can go to the booth.
Right.
That's Nordia.
Mrs. Cooper, just before we wrap, there's that message I have for anyone in here who is thinking of buying some property. Somebody mentioned it earlier, buying property on the rock and not allowing others to buy it, right? Those of you who are thinking about acquiring property in Jamaica, those of you who are thinking about acquiring property in the UK, remember we're covering you through our mortgage brokerage services. For those in the UK, VM Finance, please speak with Paul and the team here. But for those who are thinking of buying in Jamaica, I'm going to ask Andrea. Andrea is a recent customer of ours, right? Who just got a mortgage from VM. I want you to share with the gathering here your experience in getting the VM mortgage. Andrea, can I put you on the spot?
Good evening, everyone. I acquired a mortgage from VMBS. It was a very easy process. It was really something that I would advise anybody to do. Actually, this year I'm mortgage free, so I'm really grateful for that. I have gotten a lot of support even during the pandemic. I was given choice whether I needed help or not, but if the thing is not broken, why fix it? So I have enjoyed the journey. I'm still thinking what next to do, so I'll sleep on that one.
All right.
Thank you very much. I'm going to, at this point, before we get on to some more exciting things to come, I'm going to invite Leighton Smith, our VP and Chief Representative Officer, to introduce the UK team.
All right, I'm going to go very quickly because I know that quite a bit of you are very tired. But please, be very attentive because there are some prizes and surprises to be won. And of course, we'll have some refreshments outside for you. So quickly, I'm just going to ask all of my team members to come up to the front. Quickly. Very quickly, please. Every single one of you come up quickly, please, please. Let's go. Those on the outside, call them quickly and let's go. You know, one of the things that you would appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here this evening with us. It's always good when we're able to have our executives and senior leadership team from Jamaica come about. But one of the things that happen is that what we accomplish here in the United Kingdom, what we're able to do, you line off right in front of them, everybody, please. Yeah, what we're able to accomplish and what we're able to do, it is because they're going to stand and hide behind me, and I have to tell them all. So I'm going to stop John, I'm going to stop Paul, and I'm going to stop Andrew on that side, and then everybody else on the other side. Right, and then Jane be on that side. Right, good. So when you talk about purchasing your property back home, in Jamaica, and we're able to write the mortgages, we're able to open those accounts, we're able to help you to maintain the financial relationships, we're able to help you to understand the nuances of property purchases and what it means to do business in Jamaica. This is the team that does it. This is the rep office team. You have Rory O'Harris. Please give them a round of applause, please. There are a lot of you that we have seen, and we know you inside out in terms of how it is that we have helped you to get to achieve that goal, similar to what Andrew mentioned. So you have Rory O'Harris, who is our Business Development Officer for the UK. Donna Brown, she's our Operations Manager, so therefore all the representative offices, they report into her. So persons who said they're reporting to me, they're actually reporting to her. So if you have a problem, call her, not me. All right. Beside her, you have Jorian Small Campbell. Jorian, you hear that trainer? And you have to cheer her at our fan club because she's the newest kid on the block. And believe you me, you would not believe how well she has fit into the team, and she's just running with the pack. So we're very happy to have her. We have Shelly Ann Scott. Shelly Ann is our operations officer with the Tottenham office. So Shelly Ann is in charge. Shelly Ann will write a mean mortgage for you if you want to purchase a property in Jamaica. If there's a problem, call Shelly Ann. She'll figure it out, and then she will get on Miss Brown's case, and when Miss Brown won't assist her, she'll get on my case, and when sometimes I will ignore her, she'll then find Mrs. Kerpensley to come back and swing it around. You then have Rasheen Salmon. I love to call her. Yeah. The customer's name are Miss Salmon, so every day I say, Miss Salmon, come here. What I mean, when you talk about someone, everyone knows the story of the little engine that could? That's Rasheen. Rasheen impressed us from the day she came, and she forced us to promote her, and she is now a senior loans officer. Yeah. Yeah, it's good when you have a worker that forces your hand. She challenged us to challenge her, and she continues to perform. So again, if you want that difficult loan to write, call her. And then now at the end, you have Marsha Clark. Marsha is the operations officer for Brixton. Marsha is where the care and the heart comes into play. Again, she's one of the persons who write the loans, and she said, boy, Mr. Smith, no, we have to do something for the customer. We have to help them. And sometimes it's hard, but she finds that way because of the genuine care and love that she has. And sometimes I say, Marsha, it can work. I will find a way to let it work. So this is a team. I'm very proud of them. A lot of persons always mentions, Leighton, you're doing well. But as a leader, I cannot do well without the support of this wonderful team that's here. So to my left and your right, Courtney now speaks of VM Finance and what we're able to do. I'd like to introduce you to John Wybar. John is our relationship manager with VM Finance Limited. John is Jamaican. You see him here. Yeah, we have adopted him. We tell him every day, John, you're Jamaican. So he's learning patois. So if you drop some patois around there on him, don't think that he won't figure it out. He will figure it out because we have taken him along. Yeah, but he joined us last year, and when John came to us, John came and John fit in so well. Missing today is Sahil, who is unwell, but both John and Sahil, they're not Jamaicans with their background, but they fit in so well, so they're adopted Jamaicans. So we, right? Anybody we take on, we just adopt them. So they're Jamaicans. But they have done phenomenally well in terms of when Courtney spoke about VM Finance and how much it is that we have written. These are the guys that do it, and they've done well. Next to John, you have Paul. Paul is the one who's going to find the mortgage for you here, VM Finance Limited. So when you think about if you want to purchase the property here and you go to the High Street Bank and the High Street Bank man don't understand, say you throw partner, and with the partner drawer come, Paul know how to translate that partner draw to know so that's money when they do the feasibility test, right? And therefore, again, too, Paul is Jamaican heritage, so we just put him in. So he knows, he will understand, and he will find the right deal for you. Beside Paul, you have Jane Kerpensley. A lot of you know Mrs. Kerpensley because she was on this side, but we move her to that side. Yeah. She's a manager for credit administration for VMF Finance, and she does a lot when it comes to supporting us, you know, ensuring, or safety net, ensuring that we do what is necessary and that we get there. And then at the extreme end, they say there's a man that looks like me, but I'm better looking. But we always drive each other like that. That's Andrew Evans, and Andrew is our head of lending service. And he has joined us, in fact, June 1st was 4 years Andrew joined us. And one of the things is that, 4 years ago. And one of the things is that Andrew and I met in a previous life. We worked at the same company before. And our relationship is unique in the sense that when you find someone who you work well with and you gel, and I was talking about, you know, you being able to be straight up with, and, you know, you push back. That's Andrew. And when he came here and I met with him, I said to him, that came to the UK, I said to him, I have a vision. And I think you do great at being part of that vision. And publicly, I want to thank him, because what he did was that he resigned his job and he came on board and he says, okay, we're going to build this vision together. And you know what is so funny is that this man was married with 2 children. Well, 1 child and 1 on the way. It's a good thing I know his wife as well. But that's another story I'll tell you some other day. But the thing about it is that what we envisioned to accomplish for VM Finance in 5 years, we accomplished it in 3. And we tell the story of how much as leaders, you see Peter and Courtney, you're not seeing them now, but they're hidden there. One of the things that happened when we spoke about this vision and this idea, we pitched it to them. And we have to thank them as well, because as young men coming up and being corporate explorers, they allowed us to explore. They allowed us to grow. And they realized, as Courtney highlighted in VM, you know, the pillars and the vision of what we want to do and where we want to go. And as such, that idea is what you see now before you, VM Finance Limited, and we're doing extremely well. And we're very happy for that. So, again, persons will often know and who I am because I'm the face, but there is no me without the people standing before me. And I'll take a step back, and I really ask you to give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to drive them hard now and tell them go back to work.
Yes. Yes, and then what I'm going to do now is give you all the opportunity for like an exercise. Please stand and feel under your chair if you feel anything under your chair.
If there's something under your chair, you may win something. Oh! Please do not turn over the people in chair. If there's nothing under your chair, there's nothing.
All those who have found something under your chair, stand up.
You found something under your chair?
And what's it? What's under your chair? Let me hear from this gentleman. What is under your chair? Sorry.
Let me give this lady first.
It's a gift certificate. You don't see
it. A gift certificate. May I try look how much there on it?
Oh, the receipt is there. Okay, so that's one set. So please sit down with your gift certificates. Now I'm going to ask Peter and rest to join us here, please. And Courtney, because we have some gifts. Could I ask all persons here who work with or have worked with the National Health Service to stand? If you work with the National Health Service or you're retired from the National Health Service, please stand. Gifts for them. Are you all standing? If you have retired from or you still work with, stand. Huh? I don't hear you say. Oops, don't know. Mash up this something. How many? Yeah, that's it? Yeah, that's it. And could everyone else join us in thanking the persons? If there's anybody who hasn't gotten a gift, let us know and you'll get it after. That's one here. One, yeah. Let us give a big clap for the National Health Service. And I'm going to ask our president if card winners, can we see how many of you got cards? Phone cards under the chair. What happened? I'd like also to acknowledge our ambassadors, VM ambassadors, Primrose at the front and Corey somewhere around the back. Where is he? Corey, right across the road, VM ambassadors. And clapping yourself for coming this evening. And an extra special thanks that the team from Jamaica found us first before them going anywhere else. Thank you. And now that you have the opportunity to go to the booths, remember the books, heritage books from the High Commission store for £25. And we're going to be serving refreshments, and you network with everybody, and safe travel home.
Safe travel home. Thank you, everyone. Remember, great things are happening in VM, and greater things will be happening in VM.
represent the truth. Me nah go say I road and see my things and get me out from you. I got a strong reggae beat with a mic in my hand to lead out the youth about that destruction and tell the people they should know right from wrong. We got the strength, we got the power to help each other up the ladder. Don't be selfish, the welfare brothers today. We can make it if we try. Just remember to hold your red eye. It doesn't make sense when we fuss and the truth. Me nah go sit aside and watch Babylon and keep me mouth from mute. I've got a strong reggae beat and the mic in my hand to lead out the youth about that destruction and let the people know right from wrong.
No, I never can understand it, the way the system planned. There's no hope, no chance, no loophole, no escape for a sufferer man. Cause every time I read my head about